So you've just read or listened to Mariana Becomes a Butterfly, and we're going to go through the steps of the engineering design process to help us create our own hand pollinator. So what was the question? What was the big problem that Mariana had? And that was her flower wasn't getting pollinated. So when you're trying to come up with a solution, you need to look at what already works. And a good pollinator is a bee. So here's a picture of a bee. Maybe that's a wasp, maybe that's a hornet, I don't know. But it's a pollinator. What makes that such a good pollinator? Let's take a close look at its legs, and what do you notice? Its legs are fuzzy, they're hairy. Maybe that's why it's so good at picking up and dropping off pollen. So what materials can I use to create my hand pollinator? We're going to go to the next slide for this one. Here are some materials that I found around the house. I looked in the arts and crafts section of my basement, in the bathroom, in the office supplies. You can look anywhere in your house for materials. Here are some examples of the materials I found. Some tape, some cardboard, fabric, cotton ball, pipe cleaner, paper clip, Q-tip, craft stick, paintbrush, pencil, some ribbon. All of those are great possibilities. You don't have to use those possibilities. You can use whatever you find around your house. Those are just some examples. But we did just talk about how a bee is a good pollinator because its legs are fuzzy. So what material can mimic a bee's legs? We already know he's a good pollinator, so if we create our hand pollinator to kind of be like a bee's leg, it might work well. The next step is imagine. And what you have to do here, this is just brainstorming ideas. This is just coming up with a list of solutions. There are no bad ideas when you're brainstorming. All ideas are good ones. You might not use them, but all ideas are good. So don't feel reluctant to come up with as many ideas as you possibly can. At the end of that step, you're going to choose the one that you think is going to work the best. Once you have that idea, you're going to go to the plan stage. And you're going to draw a diagram. Now, Mariana had her own hand pollinator, and I asked her to give me her diagram, and this is what she sent me. It's basically just a drawing of her hand pollinator. But because it's a diagram, she needs to have labels. So she's going to label each of the materials that she uses. So material A, she didn't want me to give you the exact material that she used. She wants you to think about it on your own and not just copy what she does. So material A is the top part, the part that catches the pollen and drops it off. Material B is the part that she holds with her hand. And material C is what's the material that's going to stick them together. It's going to make them become one item. And if you notice on the slide here, it says make a list of what you need. Well, in your diagram, when you label your materials, that's a list of what you need. So make sure that in your diagram you have the materials labeled. And once you have that plan, the next step is to create it. Just use the materials and make your hand pollinator. You're going to test it out. I'm going to talk to you a little bit in a minute about how to go about testing it out. And once you've tested it out and it's working, or maybe it's not working, the next step is to improve your design. make it even better. If it works, make it work better. If it didn't work, make it work. So just test it out. And it's okay if your hand pollinator doesn't work very well the first time. That's all right. Great things don't happen right away. They take some time, they take some effort, they take some thought, and that's okay. So those are the steps of the engineering design process.